Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Warships from Guinea Titan, and we're on the USS Benson on the Two Brothers map. It's a standard battle, capture the base. So the USS Benson is the Tier 6 American destroyer, or US destroyer, and I'm still playing it. I haven't shown too many Benson games actually in recent times. I tend to have very mixed results with the Benson, although I think I'm improving gradually, or I think my situational awareness is getting a bit better. And sort of the reading the pattern of the games, just the style, what's the appropriate reaction to current deployment sort of thing. Getting better and more intelligent in my use of smoke and various other things like that. Now, the Two Brothers map is one of the easier maps I think to play out on, because kind of the same thing kind of happens. Basically, the ships go around the sides of the island at the start. Sometimes you might get somebody pushing through the centre, but if you push through the centre too early, or you're spotted pushing through the centre, it's very easy to counter a ship that attempts to push through the centre. So you generally have some kind of meeting contact at the side. Now, I'm a bit isolated. The guys behind me aren't really in strong supporting positions. If I run into somebody here, well, there's a Colorado down there, and then I would spot the destroyer, the mass. Now, I regard it as my priority anyway to shoot destroyers. The guns on American destroyers are quite strong, and getting rid of enemy destroyers is really a priority. Now, I am quite fortunate that the mass actually launched smoke. If the mass hadn't launched smoke there, I would have had to launch smoke, because there's a lot of incoming fire. And I've just launched some torpedoes, and where I suspected was the last sort of known location of the mass, because sometimes people, a surprisingly large number of times actually, destroyers come to a stop in the middle of their smoke screen at their sort of last spotted location, and they just sit there. Now, the advantage to me here is because the enemy destroyer has put the smoke screen, he has blocked all these allies from seeing me. Now, I can't see them either, but I'm the one that was under fire from multiple ships, so the advantage is to me, not to them. And if he had forced me to spend my smoke screen, then I would be I've only got 2 uses of a smoke screen. Now, they're pretty long lasting, but the trouble is, this isn't a location where I could stay in the smoke screen, simply because I wouldn't be guaranteed the support of allied ships. Now, I've just run aground, which is a disaster. There's an Atlanta back there as well. I didn't realise the Atlanta was there at the while, but he's not shooting at me, fortunately. At least I don't think he's shooting at me. So I've popped smoke, but I'm just at the edge of my smoke, and radar detected. So I thought at this point, when the radar switched on, that I was in serious trouble, because the Atlanta was after me, and the mass was going to get me, which is why I launched the torpedoes, because I was sure that I was going to sink. And then I run myself aground again, and there's incoming torpedoes, and we just squeezed past. So yeah, the Benson I'm actually quite enjoying, and I now have the funds to go and buy the Fletcher, but I want to build up a cushion as well. I don't want to buy the Fletcher, have no money left to run ships, or to buy upgrades, or even to buy the lower tier battleships and cruisers as well. So I'm going to build up a buffer before I go and buy the tier 7 ship. But it is interesting that so far I've been making a profit on all battles. I don't think I've ever lost money on a battle in World of Warships yet. So it just seems to me they have a very different model for enticing players to spend money than they had in World of Tanks. Like, World of Tanks grind is very grindy. It's a very grindy game. Like, it takes a lot of effort to get into the higher tiers, and it takes a lot of effort to both experience points and silver to get the top tier tanks. Whereas World of Warships, you get experience quite easily. I have the experience unlocked for ages. And the tier 7 was the first ship where I actually didn't have the silver to buy the next ship in the line as soon as I unlocked it. Or, well, I suppose doubloons or whatever they call it. But I didn't have the currency in line to buy the next ship as soon as it was unlocked. Which is a completely different situation to my early experiences in World of Tanks. Anyway, there's an Atlanta out there. And it looks like the two battleships are just beating our cruiser in the middle channel. Now, I don't want to get involved with Atlanta, which is why I didn't fire my guns all this time. I was just quite willing to send torpedoes in his general direction. Sometimes, you know, it works, but he was actually not going to hang around there either. He was actually going to disengage and leave. So it is time somebody actually goes back to the cap circle. Because one of the things that happens, or quite frequently happens on this map, is that the ships on the flanks get over engrossed in what they're doing, and they tend to ignore ships going back into the cap circle. And with two ships going into the cap circle, the cap will flip quite quickly. So it's absolutely imperative that everybody who can get there turns around immediately and gets there. And I was expecting our side to do it. Now, one of the battleships is definitely responding, and I'm responding as well. I'm the furthest away, but the other battleship with us is ignoring it completely. Now, I don't know what the guys in the far side are doing, though it turns out one of those ships respond as well, but they're almost as far away from our cap circle as I am. We're down more ships, although we've managed to wipe out both enemy destroyers. And we're all battleships. They're a mixture of cruisers and battleships. But they have more ships, so this could be a very, very tough fight to win. So there's Colorado up there, and he looks like he's on more or less intact. And we have battleships back, just about. I suppose he's engaging already. I mean, shots are out. They're being exchanged back and forth across the cap circle. And there's another ship up there with the Colorado as well. Now, I'm in no position to intervene. I have to get through this gap here and I hope to get through the gap before I get noticed and come under fire from the Colorado. If he switches fire to me, or that he stays engaged with the ship that he's engaged in. Fortunately, his seaplane has just landed, so it's cut down. I've just been spotted, but we're committed now. We have to keep going. We can pop smoke if we have to. And the Colorado's out of the channel, which is fortunate that he's out of the channel and the other guy isn't, which means I can sort of at least initially launch torpedoes with one ship. I want to fire from the secondaries of the Colorado, and I've not given myself enough turn. Okay, torpedoes out, and there's the Bayern. And I'm going to launch torpedoes against that ship as well. And I better start popping smoke, because I think the Bayern, at least. Colorado is certainly aware that there's torpedoes in the water, which is why he's turning. He's pulling a very sharp turn, and has actually turned inside my torpedo hit. But that means he's turned broadside to the Skarnhorst, to my allied ship, the battleship. So that's very good. We've managed to put a torpedo into the Bayern. And I'm going to keep focusing fire on the Colorado. Yes, looks like he's taking a Citadel hit there or something. He just lost an awful lot of hit points all at once. So the price he paid, because I think when he turned broadside as well, his guns were brought offline. So he had to wait for turrets to turn around and re-engage. So Bayern with the torpedo hits is down as well, and I've managed to get the kill. But yes, between the two of us, we just reduced him down very effectively. And our third battleship has arrived, but the Skarnhorst has actually got off fairly lightly, and he's now steaming into the channel, where the enemy cruiser, an enemy cruiser is. I think it's the Atlanta. So, let's see how this was going. This is tricky now because the cruiser, I think, still has torpedoes. And has, of course, if it's the Atlanta, it's got the blistering. There's the torpedoes coming up. Gardenhorst eats 2 of the torpedoes. It doesn't have a lot of hit points left, and the Atlanta has an absolutely blistering rate of fire. And it's high explosive, so it would be very, not only a lot of incoming fire, but set a lot of fires as well. So the Gardenhorst is bleeding hit points, but the Atlanta doesn't have a lot left either. And this is going to be very tight. Gardenhorst is down. I wasn't really expecting to survive this either, but I put torpedoes in the water. And we're just... Atlanta's got very little hit points left as well. Neither do I, of course, but I managed to get fire burning and... Well, I didn't get the kill. But we managed to do some extra damage, and the torpedoes would have got him anyway. And now we're 3 ships to 2. So there's an enemy cruiser and a battleship still out there. And we've got 2 battleships surviving on our side. So the battleship that continued on the eastern side of the map didn't make it, but the guy on the western side of the map took such a long and circuitous route that he managed to avoid contact with the enemy entirely. It looks like to me. So I'm going to steam down the channel now. But I have the advantage, there's a lot fewer enemy ships around. The last... Looks like, was that the battleship spot at the end of the enemy cap circle? And I have no idea where the last known location of the destroyer or the cruiser was. So I should be able to get out the channel here. Oh, there's the cruiser. It's been just detected by the battleship around the island. Like Galissonier. And he's heading north. So, where is the battleship? Well, I have battleship support. I have an incoming battleship into the cap circle on my starboard side, and he's coming in around the right side of the island. So he won't be blocked by the island when I enter the cap circle. Now we're in the enemy cap circle, so we're now capping, and they're the ones under pressure. They're gonna have to come back and reset the cap. They're in no position to counter cap. So, how's the cruiser turn around? The cruiser's turn around, the battleship's been spotted. It's a Bayern at full strength. So, torpedoes the initial priority. I do not want to unnecessarily reveal my position, because I'm not that far away. Let the 2 battleships do get out. I have no smoke left. So, it's just me and my speed and torpedoes versus the Bayern and the enemy cruiser. Now the enemy cruiser looks like he's engaging against our battleship, which is not the best of ideas really. He's sailing the wrong way. I'm not going to be able to hit him because he's sailing north at the moment. Although it's a cruiser, so he can switch direction really, really quickly. So, are those torpedoes going to hit? And if will he change course afterwards? So I'm not spotted, so I've got the luxury of waiting. So I get 2 torpedo hits, some flooding. Now I have a feeling he's used his repair kit, and it doesn't look like he's changed course to any great degree. He's changing a bit. Let's see now. We launch torpedoes. I'm spotted now, so there's nothing to be lost by shooting. We might be able to set a fire. Now I'm going to turn away because I want to minimize the profile that he's got to target. And we just put shots out and see if we can hit him. Those torpedoes are looking good. And we got a fire, which is excellent. Because if he uses his repair, it's on cooldown. We're going to get 3 hits. 2 flooding, and up she goes. That's it, game over. That's enough to flip us across the victory line, and we now get whatever it is at stage 5. I've never actually won any of these things, or even came close. Don't play it enough, really. 71,000 damage. Wow. Was pretty good. 191,000 credits, or whatever, and we came second by experience. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and share. Feel free to comment. It really helps the channel out. If you have not already done so, please subscribe and hit that notification bell. I will catch you all soon. Bye for now.